So video 2.7 is going to start halfway through page 8 of your notes. We talked about this chart in class. So don't forget that if I say that my first integer is a, the next consecutive integer is a plus 1, and the next one after that is a plus 2, because you add 1 every time you go from one integer to the next. Now for consecutive even integers, you add 2 because you're skipping a value. So we add 2 here, and then we add another 2, so that's where we get b plus 4 here. The next one would be like b plus 6, so on and so forth. Now here, consecutive odd integers, this is where people get messed up because they see the word odd and they think they should add 1 or add 3. But to go from one odd integer to the next, you need to skip 1, so we're adding 2 each time, okay? So question number 4 says find 2 consecutive integers whose sum is 45. It's a word problem, so we're going to solve this, we're going to follow the same steps we did before. The first step that we said is to underline key information. So we've got 2 consecutive integers and their sum is 45, okay? And then we need to identify what we want to figure out. Well, we want to figure out what my 2 consecutive integers are. So that's part of the information that's given to me as well as what I want to figure out. Now I'm going to write my let statements. And actually, let statements for consecutive integers are actually the easiest let statements that you can do. So here we don't know 2 things, so we don't know 2 integers. Okay, that means we have 2 let statements. So we're going to say let the first consecutive, and we'll abbreviate, integer. If I don't know what it is, I'm going to call it x. So then the second one, the second consecutive integer, is just going to be x plus 1. And it says that they have to have a sum of 45. So if my first one is x and my second one is x plus 1, I want to add them together and it should equal 45. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. X plus x is 2x. 2x plus 1 equals 45. Subtract the 1 from both sides. You end up getting 2x equals 44. Divide both sides by 2, so I get x equals 22. Therefore, my first integer is 22, and my second one is 23. And if you add those together, you do get 45, so it works for us. So we can say, therefore, the consecutive integers are 22 and 23. Now, when you're done, your answer has to make sense. So if you don't get an integer, if you get a decimal, something went wrong. If it says that you have odd integers and you get even integers, something went wrong, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 says, there are 3 consecutive even integers. So there's 3 consecutive even integers such that the sum of the smallest and 3 times the second exceeds twice the third by 38. And then we want to find the integers. Now, I understand this is probably very overwhelming. Take it little by little. So step 1, underline key information. Check, we're done with that. Step 2, identify what we want to figure out. We want to figure out the integers. Check, we're done with that. Step 3, draw a picture. Not really necessary. So step 4, we're going to write our let statements. If there are 3 consecutive integers, that means we have to write 3 let statements. We want to be specific with our let statement. So we're going to say let the first consecutive, and it has to be even. Don't forget that it's even. Consecutive even integer is x. So that means that the second consecutive even integer, remember to go from one even number to the next, we have to skip. So we're going to say x plus 2. And then we can say let the third consecutive even integer equal x plus 4. Okay? So now that we've written our let statements, we need to write our equation. Our equation is a little bit tricky, but again, we're going to take it little by little. So it says 3 consecutive even integers are such that the sum, so sum means to add. So I'm going to add 2 things together. The sum of the smallest, so again, I'm going to add 2 things together. So the smallest right here is going to be x. That's my smallest. And 3 times the second, so here's my second one, but it says 3 times it, and I need brackets to show it's 3 times the whole thing. Exceeds means is more than, so is, I need to put an equal sign, is more than the twice the third. So how do I write twice the third? 2 times x plus 4, okay? But it's exceeded by 38, so that means that I'm going to have to add 38. Okay, so again, let's talk about this again. It says the sum of the smallest, here's the smallest, here's the sum, okay, and 3 times the second, so here's 3 times the second, exceeds is equal to twice the third, so 2 times the third, but it exceeds it by 38, so it's 38 more than that amount, so plus 38. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my distributing. So I end up getting x plus, this becomes 3x plus 6 equals, this becomes 2x plus 8 plus 38. Okay, put these guys together, you get 4x plus 6 equals 2x, these are like terms, plus 46. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of this 2x by subtracting it. So subtract 2x from both sides, and you end up getting 2x plus 6 equals 46. Now I need to get rid of this 6, so I'm going to subtract it. And again, I'm not going over how to solve the equation because at this point in time, hopefully you're comfortable with that. The 6's cancel. 46 minus 6 is 40. Divide both sides by 2, so I can say that x equals 20. So therefore, the 3 consecutive even integers, and did we get an even integer? Absolutely, are 20, and then the next one is add 2 to it, so it's 22, and the next one is add 4 to it, 24. So are 20, 22, and 24. And that's my final answer right here.